Hello my friends, Paul here in the RoJoBe Music Workshop, and welcome to part 4 of the Tumbi build project. Okay, so where did I get to in the previous episode, part 3? Yes, I remember now. I was finalising the neck shape and the headstock. And it's looking pretty good, and I've got it mounted into the coconut shell. It's glued in. I'm going to show you this a little later. Okay. What I want to do now is to start to make the top for this instrument. For that I'm going to need my laptop and my laser engraver. Okay, so let me just move the camera to that area where you can see what's going on there. Okay, so I'll zoom in a bit. Okay, just tilt that down a little bit. Right, okay, so I've kind of got it set up at the moment. So let me just pull up a chair. Okay, so actually I'll make sure I've got some battery power on the laptop first. Let's see. Yeah, we should be fine. Okay, so I've got this laptop set up so that when I open pictures, they open with my laser engraving software, which is Lightburn for those of you that want to know. Okay, so I'll open pictures. So I've already made a template for this. So I open that first of all. It says Tumbi top. I'm not sure if you can see that. Let me just zoom in a bit more. I don't know how well you're going to see this. Okay, so this is the one we're looking at right here. It's called Tumbi top. So I open that, and it immediately opens in my laser engraving software, Lightburn software. Is that going to focus? I'm out of focus now. Right, so what I need to do now is just check the settings. I have already set it up, but I'm just going to check. So I right click at the top of the screen, and a drop down menu comes up. So first of all I want cuts and layers. So this is done in 3 parts. So there's the border on the outside, which is actually cut out, and then you've got pattern in the middle, well, so between that and the middle, and in the middle I've got my logo. You can't really see that too well. Okay, so I've got the settings at the moment. For the actual engraving, I've got speed 4,750, that's millimeters per minute. And the power is at 100%. For cutting out the border around the edge, I've got the speed at 150, and again the power at 100%. So that seems to be set up right. So I right click again, and then I open the window that says laser. And so I need to just zoom out a bit. Wait. Okay, so we'll switch on the laser, and it's all, we've got the power in, we've got the USB. So now that I know that that's set up right, I want to just do a test. So first of all, I'm going to home the laser engraver. So press home, and nothing happens. I know, wait. Okay. Right, so now it should home itself. There we go. Good, okay. So now that I've got all the settings, I want to check, I can close that window now. I want to check that it's, doing what I want it to do. So I click on frame, and it does an outline of where it's going to do the engraving. Okay. So I need to move that across, first of all. Try again. seems good. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is adjust the height of the laser. So I've got this spacer which tells me exactly where it needs to be. So I'll just undo this thumb screw here and place that underneath and drop it down so that it's touching that spacer, and do up the thumb screw again. Right, so let me just check that one more time. Yep, that's all good. Okay, so that's ready to go now. So let me just check what the run time will be. It says 13 minutes 40 seconds, but it's going to be probably about 15 or 16 minutes, I would imagine. Okay, so it kind of plays a run through, so I'll just play that to see if I'm happy with how it's going to go. I mean, this is by no means a tutorial on laser engraving. I was just showing you what I'm doing for this part of the project. Okay, happy with that. So, before I start, I'm going to put my cover over the laser engraver. Homemade. Okay. Make sure it's clearing everything, and it is. Okay. Right. Extractor pipe into the side of there. Okay. Extraction system on. And start. Here we go. Okay, so it's now going. So we'll leave that to run, let it do its thing. So now we'll turn our attention back to the instrument itself. Okay, so let me just zoom back out a little bit. Let's put some light on as well. Okay. Right, so this neck is now glued into the body. And I was concerned that where it goes through the body, this coconut shell is very thin, so there's not much gluing surface area, the bottom and the top. So I thought, how can I strengthen that? Now at first I was thinking to put some gauze around the inside of the joint, impregnated with glue. But I thought that's still not going to be strong enough. So what I ended up doing was I basically drilled right the way through the rod and out the other side, and I put another rod all the way through. So it comes out both sides, and that's glued in place. And I'm not sure how well you'll see this, but I don't know if you can see, but the going across, it kind of bows upwards. Can you see that? So it's sort of curved upwards, and it's in both sides there, glued in. And with that bow going upwards, that's actually pulling down on this neck, so it's pulling it into the shell. I mean, it's already glued in place. I let this glue set up before I did this. Actually, I haven't checked if it's still straight, but it is. Yeah, that's fine. So this was quite tricky to do, so I had to drill through the side of the coconut shell, through the neck shaft, and then out through the other side. But I had to do it in such a way so that when I put this dowel through, it was kind of up a bit in the middle, so that when it's glued in at the sides and it's kind of curved upwards, it's pulling the whole thing down. Right, let me tell you one thing I know for a dead cert. This neck ain't going anywhere. So, it's kind of multi-purpose this. So, it's with this slight curve upwards, it's pulling it down, so the neck is never going to come out. but also because it goes through the sides, the neck cannot rotate either. So even if these glue joints here do come loose, that neck ain't going to go anywhere. I can tell you that for nothing. That is in there, that is solid. And you might be thinking, you're kind of making it all too rigid and it's not going to resonate, but bear in mind I'm going to be putting a wooden top in here anyway, so you know it is going to be rigid, and it will, it's kind of hard to tell from that, but it will resonate, it will sound absolutely fine. I mean, this is kind of the way they're built, although not with this brace going across. Now this was an afterthought, because I'd already put the neck in when I thought, I'm not really happy that's going to be strong enough. So this was an afterthought. So I'm not going to be doing this with the others. What I will do with the other ones is, before I drill these holes, top and bottom, I'm going to glue another piece of wood inside where the holes are going to be, you know, a flat panel of wood, and glue it in place, top and bottom, before I glue the hole. So, you know, basically a thin piece of ply or something like that, glue it in place, and then when I drill through, it's kind of, this wall will then be double thickness, so there will be more glue surface area for it to bond to, and that will be really, really strong. So that's what I'm going to do with the others, but this one, as I said, kind of an afterthought, but let me tell you, that is strong. That ain't going anywhere. That neck is never going to move. You would have to literally smash this thing to pieces to get that neck out now. So yeah, so obviously, you know, right now I've got the top laser engraving. Let me just check that actually. Yeah, that's looking good. So, you know, once that's done, I will then, you know, need to put the top in this. Now, to do that, to mount the top in here, I've shown you before where the edge, when it comes up here, it kind of starts to curve inwards again. So, you know, if I just try and place because the top is not going on top, it's going inside the shell, the rim of the shell. So, it would just fall right through. So, I'm going to be putting kerfing inside the lip, all the way around, 3mm deep, because the top is 3mm thick, and so I'm going to be putting this kerfing all the way around the inside. Oh, this is really hard to show. The inside of the lip, 3mm down, so that when I put the top in, it's got, you know, a solid surface to glue to, more gluing surface area, and it's going to stop the top from dropping right in. So once that's all set up, it will be really strong and rigid, and it's not going to go anywhere. Now, this kerfing, it's for the inside of guitars, and you know it's got all the slots or notches cut in it, so that you can bend it to the shape of where it's going to go. However, this shape is a very tight bend, so I've discovered that if I try and bend this in shape to that, it just snaps. So what I've got here is I've got a bucket of water, and I've got some of the kerfing in there soaking. So when you do that, it softens the wood and it will be more pliable. So I'm going to leave that overnight. It's been soaking for a couple of hours, and I tried it earlier and it's still brittle, it still snaps. So I'm going to leave it overnight to make sure it's nice and soft. And what I will do is, you know, I'll start doing the job, because it's going to be a very fiddly job to get that all in there, clamped, glued, clamped, and the right distance below the lip, and of course all the way around. And I've got to, you know, go around the dowels here and here and here and here. So it's going to be a little bit of a fiddly and tricky job. Not impossible, I can do it, no problem. But I will start the job off camera. to see how it goes first. And then once I'm happy with how it's going, I'll then record a bit of that. But you know, so I've got to put all that kerfing in there before I put the top in. Once that's done, that's the body of it done. You know, I mean, the neck is all shaped now. I've still got to drill the hole for the tuner, but I don't need to do that yet. So yeah, the next stage, as I said, is to put the top in, and once that's done, I will then, you know, fit the tuner, and then the string and the bridge / saddle, and it will be at that stage that I will know whether or not I need to fit a nut. Traditionally, these instruments don't have a nut. If I can get away with not fitting one, I won't fit one. But if it does need it, it's quite easy to do. I can just cut a slot here and put in a little very shallow nut made of bone, and that will sort it out. So really, once the top's in and I've sorted out the tuner and whether or not it needs a nut, we're almost there. Not that much more to do. And incidentally, you're not really going to see it, but where I, you know, went through the sides here, obviously I've glued it in at both ends and through the middle here, but just to give it a little bit of extra strength, I kind of made up some cement out of sawdust and wood glue, and so made like a paste, and put that all around the joint there, and this side as well. So put it all around there to make it nice and strong. But let me tell you, that is strong. That's going nowhere. And yeah, so you know, we're kind of coming towards the final stage of this first one. 4 more to go, minimum. I know that the customer's going to be happy with this. Once it's finished, it's going to look awesome. I just hope it sounds awesome too. It should sound pretty close to the originals. And yeah, because I mean, I've made instruments similar to this before, and been quite surprised by how good the sound is, because everything is small, not just the bowl. Everything is small, you know, it's got a short neck and it'll have just one string, and you know, it kind of just works together. So that's where we're at right now. Laser engraving is close to finishing. Yeah, that's probably going to run for another 3 or 4 minutes or so. So I'm going to waffle a bit. Yeah, so one thing I didn't mention is before I made that or started making that top, I measured the diameter of the inside of this coconut shell. I measured it in, you know, several different ways, from the inside lip to the other side, you know, going across it, the diameter. And I took several measurements, and you know, most of them were in the region of 103 millimeters. There were 1 or 2 areas where it was slightly under that, and when I had a close look, you're not really going to be able to see it, but certain parts of the shell, like here, it's a little bit thicker, the wall of the shell, and also a little bit, so, what did I say? Yeah, so a bit here and a little bit here, slightly thicker. So it may be a little bit tricky getting that top in, but rather than shaping the top to fit in here, what I'll probably do is just kind of gently file and or sand the inner lip there to allow it to sit in there properly, because I want it to be a really nice fit. You know, I want it to look really good, fit properly, no gaps. So it will be better if I just kind of, you know, file the inside lip here where necessary to get that to fit in. And so but you know, I'd much rather the top sits inside the lip than on top. It will be much stronger, and if done properly, it will look a lot better. However, for some of these other shells that I've got, let's try and find one that's, yeah. So you can see, I think, that that's not very round. It kind of comes to a peak here. So some of them are not, it's not very good light, not very round. So that is going to cause me some issues. You know, I could reprogram the laser engraver to accommodate that, but that's a heck of a job. So it'd be better if I just, you know, cut it to the approximate size and then go from there. But with some of them, I might actually end up putting the top on top. You know, so I still use the kerfing, but that will go on the inside lip flush with this lip. And it will still be really, really strong. And it will be easier, to be honest. Just won't look quite so good, but I can do something to finish it to make it look better, so it'll be fine. And the laser engraving is finished. Let's see what we've got. I forgot to take the pipe up. Awesome. Switch off. Wow. I am properly happy with that. Da-da-da-da. Okay, so I've got my logo in the middle. That's RM, RoJoBe Music. Although that's the logo I use for my laser engraving. I've got a nice little pattern around it. And it's cut out perfectly, and I think that looks amazing. So, while we're here, I might as well just have a quick look to see how well that's going to fit in there. I'm not gonna push it in because it will fall in, but, and I don't know how well you can see that, that is going to fit absolutely beautifully, and that's going to look stunning, amazing. Yeah, I can see it won't need a lot of fettling to, you know, to get that to fit in there properly. Oh, it's just dropped in. But yeah, it is. Well, that's in there. I hope I can get it back out again. Yeah, it's actually a slightly looser fitting than I would have liked, but once I've got that kerfing in there and I glue this to it, it will be fine. Right, okay, I'm going to need to pop that back out. Right, so that's the end of part 4. Part 5 will be coming soon, and that will be putting the top in and whatever else I have time to do. So, hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. If so, please leave a like, comment, etc. yada yada yada. In the meantime, look after yourselves, look after each other. We will see you soon. Peace out.